Hello, loved ones. This is Matt Stevens, and I hope you're doing super fantastic. I certainly am. And in my last video, I was talking about how your connection to Source is automatic. I mean, it really kind of has to be because that's where we emanate from, and I do mean that as emanate, as light is emanated. Now we are pretty far down in the spectrum, but nonetheless, we are emanated from Source. Also, we do have that divine spark of the Creator in us, which means that the Creator ultimately lives in me, lives in you, lives in each of us, and is living an experience through us as well. So that tells me that our connection is automatic. There's nothing that can be done to sever that connection. Now, that with that in mind, that's why I further went on to say that living low vibrational is unnatural. It's not a natural state for us to be living in this low vibration. However, we come into this construct, this material, physical realm, for the purpose of having an experience, for the purpose of gaining knowledge, insight, wisdom, all of those things that I mention all the time. But we come into this for that purpose. And yes, I do believe that we have been lulled to sleep. I do believe that we have lost our way. And I don't mean you, dear loved one. I mean I just mean humanity as a whole. And then it was brought to my attention. It's like, well, Matt, you say that the world cannot, we can't save the world. And I'm like, well, here's what I probably should clarify that. Because humanity, all the souls here, will they eventually ascend? Sure. But by using the word eventual, that always puts a time frame to it. But we got to remember, if we are eternal and we exist outside of this construct, outside of this realm where everything is 3D and we do observe time because there are beginnings and ends. When we exist outside of that, though, everything is happening now, and everything has happened. So everything's happened, everything's happening, and everything will happen all at once. When we look at it from that perspective, we realize, oh, so we do all ascend. It's just that when we lower down into this physical realm, we realize, well, there is a linear time frame to it. And in this particular moment, certain people are awakening. Okay. And some are not. Okay. And then we maybe even talk about the whole thing about NPCs. I know some people don't like talking about that. Dolores Cannon called them background characters, background people, and that they are people who basically are here to make the construct seem more real, to make it more full, I suppose. Whether they are NPCs or not, or just asleep at the wheel, it's not really important. If they awaken now, or if they awaken in another lifetime, from the outside looking in, from the 30,000 foot view looking in, it's all the same, as long as they do. And I believe that they will. So when I've said that we can't save the world, I think I'm more talking about we cannot save this construct that we are having these experiences in. And I believe we're here for an adventure as much as anything. Because we are eternal beings. However, we're kind of a chip off the block, right? We're part of the creation, or we're part of the source. And when source has the awakening, right, and realizes, wow, there is so much to know, there's so much to learn, there's so much to explore. I'm going to put myself out there, just scattered to the wind, and have these experiences. That's what you're doing, that's what I'm doing. And yes, our two experiences have crossed paths, and that's okay, because that is always going to be, everything that could possibly happen is going to happen. And that means crossing paths with other versions of source, having the experience. But when I say that we are naturally high vibration, That's our natural state. But now, when we come into physical material, this physical material realm, we lower our vibration significantly. And once we've gotten here, we realize, well, this realm appears to have been hijacked by what you can call the archons. Some people will call them demons. Some people will call them jinn. Lots of words, same thing, same concept. That it is a negative entity, negative force that has hijacked this realm and basically made it its own. And it's like, well, that's fine. They're negative force, they're archons, because you have basically, the bootstrapped was the word that came to mind, but it's like you've trapped yourself in this. And that's unfortunate for you, but hey, whatever. So the archons have trapped themselves in this. And they feed off of, as I've said before, that loosh. So it's in their interest to keep us in low vibrational states so we continue to produce the loosh and so we don't ascend out of here. But I guess it's like, well, joke's on you. Eventually, we will ascend out of here. And when we do, you will become irrelevant and forgotten, and therefore fade from existence. And that is that might sound like a not nice thing to say to someone. Well, there you go. So anyway, but as I've said many times, there are those who are in the know, who have this occult knowledge, which occult just means hidden knowledge, who do understand how things work in this construct. So they understand that keeping people low vibration will earn them favor with these gods of this realm. So they use their positions of power and influence to keep humanity in that low vibrational state. But again, joke's on you. In the end, everyone will ascend. And I felt the need to say this because it was kind of brought to my attention in the comments how I usually say we can't save the world, we can't save them all. And I'm like, well, I have said that, and I stand by that. But I really mean that in this lifetime, all we can really do is light our own fire. Be a beacon of light in the darkness. Because in the darkness, where we are stumbling around, trying to figure our way out, trying to figure out how to elevate ourselves and eventually, I suppose, graduate out of this, we light our own fire and be the beacon in the dark. Be a beacon of light in the darkness. And inspire others to also light their fire and be beacons of light and elevate themselves out of this. Whether we do or not, though, as I've said, that's in the grand scheme of things, from the 30,000-foot view, from the view of outside of time and space, where none of this, where it's all happening now, it's just the eternal now. It's all happening. We're all going to return to source. And what do we do after that? I mean, who could know? How could we possibly know? But here's what I do know. This appears to be our time. This is our time for awakening. And there are others who will be awakening with us. There are others who will be inspired by us. And we, no doubt, have been inspired by others to begin awakening. And I do believe these constructs do reset from time to time. History just shows it. There's lots of evidence, physical evidence, in the server Earth that would indicate that there have been previous runs. If you look just the people in North America moving west and settling the western lands, they say that they built these courthouses and these libraries and all of that out of this beautiful granite structures. I mean, just amazing. right? But it was before they had any kind of power tools, any kind of power equipment, any means of quarrying or transporting any of this stone. And they built these grand courthouses and libraries, right? And then there's also the hospitals, the asylums that we find that are just marvels of architecture. And it's like, wait a minute, those were built in the 1800s? Really? And when were power tools invented? You get my point. It's like, did they really build those or did they find those? I'm just asking a question. Do I believe that a lot of these huge granite structures were found? Yeah. And what does that indicate? Previous civilization. I believe it indicates previous cycles. I believe that would indicate that there was a reset. Why? Because oddly enough, there's no bodies. There's no evidence of graves. There's no evidence of any of that. Just the buildings. That's all. We only find the buildings. We never find the people. We never find evidence of the people besides the buildings. And maybe like some pottery and stuff like that. There's always the pottery. But we never find much besides these grand palaces, these grand, all of that. So, do I believe that this construct resets from time to time? Yes. And then there is liquefaction, where the ground liquefies and things on the ground sink below the surface. I do know that there are, like, for example, oil drilling companies who do find evidence of cities way under the ground. But they have to sign non-disclosure agreements just to get those contracts, just to be permitted to drill for oil. It's like any evidence you find, you cannot disclose that. Now, do I have it? Now, do I have proof of that? No, I don't. I mean, how could I have proof of that? That would kind of, right? It's an NDA. It's a non-disclosure agreement. So, therefore, there's no evidence to be had of that claim that I just made. And even if that's wrong, what's not wrong is there are lots of courthouses and libraries and sanitariums and asylums. Why is it always asylums? Well, the theory is there were people who were left over who survived these resets, and that's where they were housed when we came along. It's like, what do you mean when we came along? Well, when people who populate our run in the construct came along. But I know I'm getting a little woo-woo, getting a little out there. That's fine. We don't have to go there. The point is, are we all going to ascend? Yes. And when you look at it from outside the construct, from outside of time and space where we are eternal, is it all happening in the ever-present now? Yes, absolutely is. So, thank you, sir, for the call out. You know who you are. And I do appreciate that, because it did call me, it made it so that I had to address exactly what I meant by that. And that's good. I feel like I needed to do that. Now, it kind of brought me to a whole other thing where I was, the whole server Earth thing. But, if you want more evidence of that, when we find evidence all over the world, be it Mayan ruins and, all these ruins all over the world, they can't be explained. And like Bimini Road, there's a good one. It appears to be a road under the ocean. But, and how we find sea creatures such as clams way high up in elevation of mountains. And also clams, for example. When a clam dies, it's a mussel. And when it dies, it relaxes and opens up. These are clams who are still closed. So it appears as though they never died. They were just switched off. It's as if everything was switched off and then switched back on. Yeah, that's where I'm going with it, dear loved one. So anyway, but why are we here? We are here to absolutely have experiences and learn to manipulate the quantum field, I believe, which would mean learn to be master manifestors. I'm not a big manifestation guy. I don't get on here and tell people how to manifest the life of their dreams. I just don't. Now, sometimes we go there because it's like, well, if you're going to learn these things, you may as well learn how to use them too, right? So yeah, I go there sometimes. But there's enough of those guys already out there. Anyway, dear loved one, please give me a like on this video if you've been here long through this much, and you're like, wow, he went there with the whole reset on the server Earth thing, didn't he? I did. I did go there. So I appreciate you sticking with me. But yeah, please hit the like button. I would appreciate it. And if you have not subscribed to this channel yet, I'd appreciate it if you would do that as well. But besides all that, that's what I got for you. I do love you. I truly do. And I'll be back directly.